Welcome to an episode of Baby Daddy Chronicles. It is I, it is he, it is your future favorite baby daddy. One of these days, hopefully. You know, I don't know what the way the world going. I don't know if that's going to work. Today, part 2 of the Dating with Kids series. Have a friend of mine, Mel, on. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How life treating you? You need to move back some because it make you seem like you taller than me, and you not taller than me. We're not about to do this.
I am 5'7".
You are. Why is you lying? Why are you lying? So we gonna start the podcast because you lying?
No, actually,
no, you are not 5'7". No, you're not.
No,
you're not.
I went to the doctor.
You are not. You are
5'6.5".
You are not 5'6.5".
I am.
No, you're not.
I promise.
No, you're not.
Anyways, people just don't like when you're taller than them. What can you
so
do about
we're
that?
going to start off the podcast lying.
No.
When you got out the car, you was not taller than me.
Okay, you're right. I'm only 5'4". 5.
Yeah, see, there we go, lying again. Oh my!
That's not a lie for sure. I'm definitely 5'5".
Oh my gosh.
I am.
How you been? How's life treating you, man?
Life's going really good.
That's good. That's good. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. So let's get into it. I know you got things to do, and I don't want to take too long of your time.
Okay.
All right. When it comes to dating with kids, right? You have a daughter, right? Mm-hmm. How do you know when it's time for the person that you're dating to meet your child? Like, what goes into that decision?
I feel like there's kind of a lot to go into it when it comes to like meeting or having to want to meet my child. I think it just depends on like the person, like, also me, because like maybe I'm talking to someone, but I don't really feel like I see a future with them, or, maybe we're just, messing around. It's just for fun. And I don't think like no one like that needs to meet my child. So I feel like maybe if I'm talking to someone for quite a bit and I see like a future with them, or I may have like more of experience to like say, okay, I really like this person. I see things getting a little bit further. Maybe I can introduce them to my child.
Okay. Do you feel guilt or feeling bad for wanting like adult intimacy while still having to be a parent? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, sometimes I do feel guilty. It's kind of hard, like trying to balance being a mom, and especially like when you're a single mom, like you don't really have anyone else to help you. So like you have to still make time for your child and still try to make time for your partner. And sometimes that can be hard to balance because it's not just that. You also have work, and then you have sometimes like I was in school, and then so there's multiple things that you have to try to give time to, and sometimes it's hard. So I do feel guilty because I feel like I could be taking time away from my child. But also I feel like it's good because I feel like I do deserve to meet someone and find love still. So short answer, yes.
All right. So, right. When you're out with your partner and y'all having date night, what goes through the process of like, oh, okay, like, do you find a babysitter? You get your parents to watch them? How does that work?
Well, when she was younger, I would just have my parents watch her. I would ask them like, hey, can you watch Maya? I'm going to go out for a little bit. Then they would watch her. Sometimes I asked my sister. Sometimes I had a friend that would watch her sometimes. But mostly it was just my parents. Or now she's getting older. If I'm not going out for too long, like maybe like an hour or two, I might leave her home for a little bit. But yeah, mostly just having to have my parents watch her because, it's kind of, I don't know about leaving her for a long time.
I understand. I feel that. I definitely feel that. Yeah. So you had your child young, right? How do you feel like you evolved as a parent between now and then? Because I know you for what, like...
No, a long time.
Like 8 years now?
I feel like
it's been 10.
10 years.
Because she was really young when I met her.
She was, when you met Maya, she was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was 2.
Yeah, you definitely grown and matured as a person.
Yeah.
Because you was working my nerves back then.
I feel like I have evolved.
I agree. I agree with you.
I feel like
so. Talk about that evolution.
You know, like you said, I did have my daughter young. When I got pregnant, I was 14, and I had her when I was 15. So I was still a child myself. I literally was in 9th grade when I found out I was pregnant. So I'm just getting into high school, and I found out I'm pregnant. And at the time, I was with my boyfriend, and, you know, I thought I was in love, and I was like, I'm in love. Everything's going to be great. I found out I was pregnant. He's like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you. Like, everything's going to be okay. So in the moment, being a child and hearing things like that from someone you love at the time, I'm like, yeah, okay. Even though it's super scary, I was scared. I ended up having my daughter. And, you know, I had all my friends around me. Obviously, none of them had any kids. None of them were in the same situation. So it was kind of hard. Like, my friends were going out. My friends were going to parties. They're doing things. And I have a child, so I have to take care of my child. So it wasn't like I couldn't do all the things that my friends were doing. My friends are in sports. They're going to events, going to football games and things like that, and I couldn't do that. So, you know, when I got to, like, probably, like, adult age and she got a little bit older, so I was 15 when I had her. Like, when I turned, like, 20, like, 18, 19, around that age, she was, like, 3 or 4 or 5, so in that range. So I'm like, okay, she's a little bit older. I raised her. Like, I have my parents, thankfully, they supporting me, you know, being there, supporting me and her, helping out. So I kind of wilded out for a little while.
A little while? A little while?
Yeah.
A little while? I'll keep it real. A little while?
I felt like I didn't have a lot of time to, like, go out and do
correct
things.
I agree, but that's the point. That's the decision. That's the consequences of the decision when you have a child and you're still, like, okay, let's put it like this, right? I think it would have been different if you would have had her around, like, 19, 20. You had her at, like, 15.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the it's the upside. I won't say upside and downside. Downside is, right, you had it early, so you didn't really get to experience being a teenager,
right?
Because you had to be a mom,
right?
But the upside is, by the time you're, like, 30 and some change, she grown.
Well, yeah, like, and she's about to be, in 5 years, she'll be 18, and I'll only be 33.
All right, let's hop to that real quick. Being 18. Are you the type of person where you'd be like, oh, you got to get out my house, or she can stay for as long as she needs to until it's time for her to be on her own to get married, or, you know, wherever the case is?
I always joke with her. I'm like, when you get 18, you're going to be out. But I also feel like when she turns 18, she's going to want to go. Because I feel like most kids, when they're 18, they're ready to explore, go to college, have fun, do things. But I would never just kick her out. Like, you know, you got to get out of my house. You got to figure it all out. Because in reality, no 18-year-old, as soon as they turn 18, has anything of their life together. So, no, I'm not going to kick her out. I'm not going to make her just leave. But I will set her up to be successful. Okay. To make sure she has the things that she needs and the tools to be successful and be able to go into life as a young adult. Okay.
Can you discuss the emotional toll and mental toll having to always be on for your kid, even while dating and going through struggles in life?
Mentally, it's tough. Like, it's hard because you're going through things. Like, I've been through breakups. I've been through ups and downs in life. I've been lost jobs, having to go to school, fail
let's touch on the lost job part, because that's my concern, right? Having a kid, losing a job, I'm like, damn, I could barely support myself, and then I gotta have a kid, and I gotta figure shit out. How do you navigate that?
I only lost a job one time, and the reason I lost the job was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was something to do, like, my dad was sick, and I couldn't go to work, so they fired me. So I asked if I could take the time off, but I just got the job. And because my dad was sick and I couldn't go to work, obviously you have normally in the 90 days, if you miss too much work, they let you go. So that was the situation. but it still was a situation. My dad was sick. He's going through things. I have a child. I'm trying to support her. And sometimes in cases like my dad would help me, he couldn't because he's sick and he's going through things. So it was tough. It's hard. I was mentally drained, physically drained. I tried to do a lot of side hustles to like get a job. I ended up going back to school, and that was tough because I'm trying to make sure she's good and going to school and making sure she does her homework while I'm doing my homework. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is stressful.
Is that what caused you to end up being in the career you're in now because of that situation?
Because of my dad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I literally probably would have never known about radiation therapy or, anything of that if my dad didn't have cancer. So I looked into it more. My sister was going to the college, and I was trying to figure out, like, what do I want to do? Like, I have no clue. I know I want to be in the healthcare field, but I didn't want to be a nurse. I'm like, I don't want to be a nurse. And I know there's so many things in the healthcare field to do. I was going to school for healthcare administration, but I'm like, I don't want to be anybody's boss. Like, I don't want to be an administrator. I don't really care much about financials or anything like that. So I'm like, this is not for me. So I looked into it. I found out more about it, and I feel like I have a passion for it. So that's why I went into it.
Okay. Your partner now, does he have kids?
No, my partner doesn't have any.
So can you explain some of the challenges of dating someone who doesn't have kids and doesn't understand the parental responsibilities?
It's tough because sometimes, like, you have to make decisions, and, obviously your partner who never has kids and never been with anyone who has kids, they don't have to think about the same things. Like, they just make decisions, and they make decisions, by themselves without having to think about, I have to think about my child when I make this decision. Me as a mother, I have to consider my child in everything that I do. Like, I can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to go do this and it's going to be okay. I can't, like, certain things I can't do. But my partner now is very understanding. I feel like he's very supportive. He's very helpful. He understands, like, especially because in the beginning I felt like it was kind of tough. Like,
so talk about that. Like, how can I word this? How was you able to get him to understand, like, if we're going to be together, I need you to take on this role? Was that discussed, or how long was it until you was like, okay, is it how many months are you with somebody until you be like, I need you to start stepping into being a father? Or do you just let them naturally go into that role themselves?
I feel like he doesn't have to, like, step into a role of being a father, but he does have to step into a role of understanding, like, if you're going to be with me, sometimes I need support. Like, it's not just me, it's me and my child. So, like, if I need something, and you have to understand, like, I'm going to need help with her too. Like, we live together now, so it's different. I feel like if we didn't live together, it'd probably be a lot different scenario. Like, there's not as much I would ask him to do because he.
So what do you ask him to do, if you don't mind me asking?
So for example, there was a situation that happened, and my daughter ended up having to switch schools, and I had to be to work early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, some days 6:30, and my daughter had to be to school by 7, but the school obviously didn't open until 7, so I had to be to work at 6. So I'm like, some days, are you able to just drop her off and I could pick her up? And he had no problem. He said sure. He dropped her off, and I would pick her up from school. So, like, that would be one of the things that I feel like he obviously didn't have to do it, and I don't feel like I had to force him or beg him or anything to do. He knew the situation, and he was willing to help, which I really appreciate.
That's good. How's their relationship?
Their relationship, I feel like it's getting a lot better. I know, like, at first it's tough because Maya, like,
she got a slick mouth. She got a slick mouth. That little girl got a slick mouth.
I feel like she does have a slick mouth a little bit, but also it's just tough for her because, like, she is used to me being me, just me and her, just me and her, me and no one else. Like, it's just, so it's hard when she sees that I have like split my time with someone else. So like I obviously there's times where she's in her room and I'm with my boyfriend, we're on the couch and we're chilling, hanging out. And I'm sure like there's times where she's like, oh, why isn't my mom hanging out with me? Like, and normally in times like that we would hang out, but you know, I have a boyfriend now, so there's times where she's doing her own thing and I'm doing things with him. So I feel like it was tough in the beginning because she's not used to sharing me. So I think that's something that she had to get used to as well.
How do you balance that? Like, are there certain days where it's like, okay, this is the day where it's strictly me and her. It's another day where it's strictly me and my boyfriend. It's another day where it's strictly all three of us together. Like, how do you balance that?
You know, I don't have like a specific schedule where I'm like, I'm going to spend time with Maya this day. I'm going to spend time with my boyfriend this day. But mostly like, I would say on the weekends, I try, like she's there. So I'm trying to spend time with her, try to do things with her. It's the summertime now. So I'm trying to get out and do more things. Like this is the first time that my boyfriend's like been there, and during the summer, me and him just started dating recently. I've known him for a long time, but we just started dating very recently and just started living together as well. So I feel like it's different.
Yeah, how's that adjustment
I feel like
been?
a lot of times I'm trying to do things together, like instead of just like, oh, I'm spending time with I'm just spending time with my boyfriend. Sometimes I try to get us to do things together. So like if we're going somewhere, I'm like, okay, I want Maya to come or I want Hayden to come. But sometimes there's times where it's just me and Maya, we're just doing our own thing. So it just depends, I guess.
Is there any resentment from either one of the two where, all right, let's say like your boyfriend's like, hey, I want to do this. And then you'd be like, well, I want Maya to come. Is there resentment on both sides when one doesn't get their way? Or is it more like, I understand?
I don't think there's resentment is the right word to use. I feel like there may be like, oh, Maya may feel like, oh, I don't want to hang out with him today. You know, kids are in the mood, and maybe there's a time where Hayden just wants to spend time, or my boyfriend just wants to spend time with me, just me and him. So I feel like it just depends, and I listen to what they're saying, and depending on the situation, I may go off of that. So I guess it just depends.
Does she still have a relationship with her dad or no? I take that as a no.
They talk. So I wouldn't say they don't have a relationship. It's not like he's not involved at all, but I definitely think he could be involved more.
Does that bother you, or is it now it's just you got used to it, so it's like it's just whatever?
It still does bother me because I'm like, especially lately, like Maya's been going through a lot of things, so like it's hard. Like, and like it would be great for her dad to be there and be involved and like be helpful, but Maya's to a point where she has like an estranged relationship with her dad. So it's like she doesn't really necessarily want to be around him, and at the time their relationship wasn't good at all, so they didn't talk at all. And I think now they're trying to get back where they're having a relationship, and I want that for her, and I want that for him for them to have a relationship, but you know, it's tough. I don't just leave it at that. It's tough.
Okay. Damn, I had a question and I really forgot it. With you now living with your boyfriend, right? How has that dynamic changed the relationship between y'all, and has that strengthened the relationship between him and your daughter?
Yeah, I feel like they're very cool with each other now. Like they talk, they have conversation. Maya comes home from school, she tells her all her school drama.
Okay, so they like little Bessie. So okay, I can get with that.
I feel like she'll talk to him about things, like she'll ask him for advice because she's clearly at the age where boys are talking to her, and she's.
How's that going? How is that going? What is the age that you're going to let her have a boyfriend?
I think she should wait as long as possible to have a boyfriend.
Because she's what now? What?
She's 12.
So have you told her, like, listen, I don't want you to make the same mistake that I've made? Like, is that a big fear for you?
I allow her to, I guess, have a boyfriend. She says, "Oh, mom, I have a boyfriend," And I think that's because me as a child, I knew if my parents were pretty strict and they didn't want me to have a boyfriend. They didn't want me to talk to any boys. They didn't want me to have any boyfriends. They didn't want me to do anything with boys. And I would just sneak and do it. So but I was also rebellious, but I also
Clearly.
I felt like Maya is somewhat rebellious as well. So
is it a worry for you that she'll make the same mistake you did and have a kid early in life? Is that a fear for you?
I don't think it's a mistake. I think that I educated her on what to do if she feels like she's ever to the point where she feels like she wants to have sex with someone. And I told her that having a kid young isn't a mistake, but it will alter your life.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You will have to change everything that you're doing, and it's all about your child now. So if you decide to go out and have sex with a boy, 95% of the time that boy is not going to be there. So I told her that from experience, and knowing people who had kids and their baby fathers are in their child's life, or they left their baby moms. If you're having a child young, your baby daddy is not going to be there, and that's just the real.
I agree with that. I agree with that for the most part. I wouldn't say 100% of the time.
I didn't say 100. I said 95. That's a high percentage.
I would say a smooth 90%.
90.
I would give it 90. There are some people that are there young and they stick it through together. They work it out, but the rest
they stay and they're taking care of their child. When they're having a child young. Who you know?
A few people. Like I said 90%. I'm not. I can't give you 95. I'll give you 90 though.
You do know someone from your experience. You know someone who had a child young at being a baby father, and they're still taking care of their child as an adult. Okay. I don't know anybody. I don't know any man that's doing that. So I can only speak from my experience.
That's a fair point.
And I can only speak from my friend's experience or experiences that I know of. So I haven't seen any person who my friends, I have had friends who had kids young, not as young as me, but still young, 18, 17, 20, and their baby father's not in their child's life. So it's very unlikely for them to be there and support them as much. Even if they are supporting, they're not supporting as much as the mother is. And it could be something that could happen. There is a slim chance that she could meet someone and they're there. But I told her that I'm just educating her of what she should do. Use protection, because it's not just a baby that could happen. There's also STDs that go around.
Facts.
So that's not just one thing you have to worry about. There's multiple things you have to worry about. And having sex with someone is a connection that you're putting with someone. So there's a whole bunch to having sex than just having sex. So I explained that to her.
That's fair. With your does your partner want to have kids?
I think my partner is still deciding what they want to do.
Do you want to have another kid? Because she's about to be like, that's like it's one thing when they still young and you still in the diaper phase. You've been out the diaper phase forever. Last time you was in the diaper phase, like it was that's a long time to go back into that routine.
It is a long time. I would be open to having more kids. Like I said, if I'm
more, like you said, kids, S plural.
One more kid at least.
Oh, okay, I was about to say you tripping.
Definitely, but I also have to understand that my partner doesn't have any kids.
Facts.
So I would feel like I would at least have one kid with my partner if that's what they want to do.
Okay.
But I would want to make sure that that's what they want to do.
Okay.
And I would want to be like we don't necessarily have to be married, but I want to make sure that
like it's going not even if it doesn't work, he's still going to be there. Yeah. Because that's a real fear for you.
That is
trying to do this all over again. That's fair.
That's a big fear.
Do you feel like you make your partner feel appreciated and seen for the role that he plays in your daughter's life? Because that was always my issue. Dating, in the past, I dated a woman with kids, and I was helping, and I didn't feel like I was necessarily appreciated or feeling seen in the role of what I was doing with her children. So do you feel like you make that known, and do you feel like he knows that you appreciate him for doing that?
I feel like I do make him feel appreciated, but I could ask you, like, what are the things that you think someone should do to show appreciation for you taking care of the children or helping out with their children? Like, what is something that you expected her to do?
It would, like, so this is going to be a little controversial, right? Because, like, right, I feel like, right, and I know it's not the same because you're not a dad, but if you're stepping up into the role of somebody and to help taking care of somebody's kid, and that's not your kid, I do feel like you should get some type of recognition on Father's Day for helping with that child. Like, it was always like I would pick the kids up from school. Could you do this? Could you do that? But it was never a thank you. I appreciate you. Like, you know what? Let me cater to you today just because you're doing something that you don't have to do. You're stepping up to take care of another man's kid when you ain't got to do that. Because at the end of the day, if he leave, you don't want to still take care of the kid. Like, he's filling in a role and taking on a responsibility that he don't have to do.
Well, I would say yes. I feel like some type of appreciation should be shown, because not saying necessarily that you don't have to or because you don't have to, but I feel like if you're helping someone out, regardless of with the children or like the household, or showing appreciation to your partner, and it should be reciprocated. I feel like also that's something that when you're going into a relationship with someone, obviously she told you she has kids. So you knew when you got with that person and you decided to move in with them, or
no, move in, no relationship, no, we was fucking at first. Let's just keep it a buck. Okay, and it just naturally
that's also different then.
Yeah, it just naturally progressed into that. But like it just would have been nice to be like,
you're not in a relationship with her, or were you in a relationship with her?
We was in a situationship.
Okay,
but so it was never to the point to where at first it was like, oh, I knew she had kids. It wasn't like, oh, like, I want to help take care of them, but it wasn't. It was just more so like I helped more so in the financial aspect and helped in regards to like if she was at work and I had free time, I would go pick them up and take them home. Stuff I ain't got to do. Like just every once in a while, it would have been nice to be like, you know what?
I guess if she wasn't your girlfriend and you guys weren't in a committed relationship, then no, you didn't have to do that. That's something that but that's also something that you should have communicated.
I know I did communicate, and that's why we stopped talking. Like, hey, listen, like I would like, a little appreciation now and then. Like, it's not hard to just be like, hey, you know what? I see you do a lot. I see you do a lot for my child.
Right.
Or for my children. So like, here's some money to go out to eat tonight. Thank you. Or here's haircut money. Thank you. Or I know like you want to go to this basketball game or whatever. Right. I got you some tickets. I'm not saying it's got to be something big. It's just got to be thoughtfulness to be like, you know what? Thank you for doing what you do because you don't have to do it.
I get that.
But I do know like when you are dealing with it, really it depends on the person because like I do think up front, like I have a new rule. If I ever date someone with kids again, I don't want to be involved with that child until a year. Can I have a relationship with the child, like hang out, cool, but as far as like helping out financially, buying school clothes, whatever the case is, I don't want to do that to a year because I want to be able to know for sure. Like I want us to build our bond first because I feel like when you're dating a person with kids and you're dating and then you start helping out too early on, it starts to be an expectation and not an appreciation. Like for example, one of my friends has a child with this woman,
right,
and he still helps take care of the other child that is not with him because that's who. When he first met her, she had him, and then they had a child together. Okay, and just from on the outside looking in, at times I feel like it's not appreciated like that for what he does for that child.
Well, also he is the one that's going on his way to do those things.
I agree.
So if that's what he wants to do, then that's on him. No one is saying, "Oh, I need you to take care of this child. But it's different if you're in a relationship. I feel like
it's a little different when, and I could be wrong. I feel like when you meet a person and you don't have a child with them, and then later you do have a child with them, it is. I feel like it is a little hard to say no, to be like, I don't want to still help take care of the first child, only my child, because then it's I feel like it's some resentment there. It's like, oh, so you don't want to take care of him, so okay, now I'm going to start doing X, Y, and Z. It could be pettiness. I could be wrong.
But also, I think that's something that you're going to have to do when you're with someone who has a child and you plan to have a future with them. You will know that you're obviously going to have kids with that person, and they have a kid already. So you should know at that point that you're going to have to be in that child's life as well, because obviously you have a kid already with that person, and they had a kid prior to the relationship, but you came into the relationship knowing that they had a kid, knowing that that kid doesn't have a father, and their father is clearly not in their life, so she's doing it all by herself. So if she's doing it all by herself, I feel like as a man, and you're wanting to be with that person, you should also help with the child. That's just my opinion, and I also have. I feel like there could be some stipulation to that.
No, I do agree that you should help with the child. I just feel like it needs to be some sort of.
And I'm not saying, oh, you have to do everything. Like, oh, I'm not going to be. I'm just going to take a step back, and I want you to do everything for my child, and that's what I'm expecting you to do. But I feel like there's certain things that, as a partner, your partner may need help with.
Like
but
what?
That's your partner.
Like
so,
what?
Like, okay, picking up the kids from school, like dropping them off maybe, or maybe they're obviously in their household, so feeding them, clothing them, making sure they have the things they need, like whatever that may be. I feel like that's something that you're agreeing to when you get in a relationship with someone who has kids. So if that's something you don't want to do, then you shouldn't be with someone who has kids. And that's your choice. Everyone has a choice to be with someone who has kids or to be with someone who doesn't have kids. And that's something that when you meet that person, they tell you, I have a child, and I want you to know I have a child. They're a part of my life. They're an important aspect to my life, obviously. And if you plan to be in my life for the long run, then you're committing to that, to me and to my child. And you, at that time, have a choice to be like, all right, maybe not. I don't think that's what I want to do. and I would, as me, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm like, okay, you're saying you don't think you can do all that, then I respect that. That's you saying, I'm not ready for that. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And we could either chop it up, just be friends, whatever that may be, and move on. Then I can find someone who will do that, because there are people out here who will do that. There's also women out here who will be with a man because there's also fathers out here.
I agree.
Who are single fathers. So it's not just always single mothers. There's single fathers here too. There's single fathers who are taking care of their child. They don't have their child's mother left them. And when a woman comes into their life, they're accepting that they're going to take on that child as their own. And that's what women do a lot of the times. I have a friend who's now married to a man who has a child. And he was a single father. He doesn't, the child's mom is not part of her life. Obviously, my friend stepped in before she even married him and helped with the child, took care of the child financially, would send them money, send them clothes, do things for the child. And that was what she knew she would do when she came into the relationship, because she knew that child did not have a mother. So those are things that you're agreeing to when you get in a relationship, when you know that they have a child. So
I agree.
If you don't want to do that, then don't be with someone who has a child. It's just that simple. Nobody's forcing you to do it, but there's a lot that goes into it. So that is something that you should think about before you get with someone who has a child. You need to think, do I really want to be with someone who has a child? Am I ready to be in someone's life? And not saying that all the time, 100% you get in it. And maybe you are willing to, and then you try it and you're like, man, I don't think I can do this. Then you should be upfront and you should talk about it. Have a serious conversation with your partner and let them know how you feel. And there's also things you could be uncomfortable with doing, and that's fine too. That's that's something you should communicate. If you're like, okay, I want to be with you, I really do like you, I don't mind being in your child's life, but I don't want to pick them up from school every day. I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. You can have boundaries. You can set those boundaries, and that's something that you guys can communicate as well. I feel like
You have boundaries when it comes to your partner and your child. Do you let them discipline her?
I feel like discipline's tough. Like that's another situation. I feel like there's a different type of discipline. I guess it depends on what do you mean and what is he disciplining her for. So I don't know. I feel like there's been times where Maya has disrespected or said something, and I'd have to talk to her and let her know, like, yes, he's not. And kids are really big on saying, that's not my dad.
Yes.
That's not my dad. That's not my dad. That's not my dad. Well, either way, it's not your dad. That is someone that you need to respect, because one, it's an adult and you're a child. Two, whether they're your dad or not, you need to show the person respect, because that person is doing things for you. That person is there for you, and that person is in your life. So you need to respect them, and you need to, in not saying that you have to call them dad or that's your dad, but you still need to respect them. You need to listen to them. And when they're telling you to do something, you need to follow what they're saying.
I agree.
So sometimes I feel like kids get into that mode where that's not my dad, I'm not going to listen to him, or that's not my mom, I'm not going to listen to her. Well, at the end of the day, that's an adult and you're a child and you need to respect them. So if they don't look at that person as their parent, they need to look at them as an adult. And there's the answer.
I agree. All right. I appreciate you. Let's wrap it up. You got any social media you wanna tag?
You can follow me on Instagram at Melody J111812. That's my Instagram. And thanks for having me on the show.
Appreciate it.
Talking to you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been forever.
Y'all know y'all can find me, man. Baby Daddy Chronicles Pod at Instagram.com, YouTube, The Average Show Media LLC, man. This is part 2. Part 3 will drop next week. I don't feel like going to my phone because I forget what the title was called. But love y'all, appreciate y'all, man. Can't do this without y'all, man. It's your future favorite Baby Daddy signing off, man. Peace.